Alright guys, so this is going to be a tutorial video on how to actually run 4-skull missions. 4-skull missions are the endgame content of Windward Horizon. I would not recommend coming in here with anything below a brigantine or a frigate, but veteran players are always willing to help newer players. It's just, I would not recommend coming in mass, because the more new people there are to this, the less likely a team of veterans is actually going to be able to complete the mission, because with a whole bunch of newer people, it's going to be a lot harder for players to actually understand how it works. I accidentally clicked on the wrong location. Let me go back out. Come on. Alright. Alright, so you just have to go to one of these 4-skull missions. Once you enter the region, you'll come into a location located within the region. It's one town you have unlocked at the start. You want to move in unison with your group to take over the towns one after another. So right now it looks like we're going to start going for this one, and then we're going to move our way around the map. If you press Control click, you can actually mark the map, and sometimes other players will go towards that marker and help out. Other times the players might just ignore the marker, which usually tends to happen. When you are taking over a town, you want to have at least one person sitting in the harbor, so that no pirates can spawn in. If you don't do that, I actually died right there, but if you don't do that, it'll make it way harder to capture the town. So as long as there is someone within the radius of a town, nothing can spawn there. But even if you're nearby, the pirates will still spawn. So you always want to make sure that there's at least one person on the town. A town cannot be captured, however, until you take out the tower that's nearby it, if there is a tower nearby it. Sometimes there isn't, but the majority of the time there is. So if we go up here, I forgot where the tower was that took me out. I think it was around, what was it? It wasn't the tower that took me out, but there'll be pirates spawning continuously. So you want to work together with your team to actually wipe them out. If no one is on the capture point, I would recommend going onto it so that nothing else could spawn in. And until the town is captured, you do not want to have everyone leave until the town is fully captured. I'm just spamming all of my defensive and offensive capabilities so that I do not die as easily. If you're running more of a tank or DPS build, you're probably going to want to do the same. See right there, pirate. Well, I think that pirate was already there, but no one's actually on the capture point, so let me get onto it. My build isn't fully decked out, so I'm dying pretty easily. I just swapped to this ship, so... Alright, so since I'm on the capture point, nothing can actually spawn here. And once this is captured, or once all the enemies are taken out, this bar will start to go up. And then once it's gray, it'll start to build up again and go green. It works the same as any control game. If everybody leaves the capture point but you have to stay on it, because if no one else is on it, it's just going to sit there and not be captured. And depending on whether it's red or gray, the enemies will still be able to spawn on it if it's red. If it's gray, nothing will be able to spawn there, but it's still an easy capture for the pirates. You always want to have it captured before you actually leave the zone. So we're just going to sit here until our team takes out the rest of the pirates down there. There's one over to our right. That one's dead. Alright. So this should start to capture in a moment here because I think all the nearby pirates are gone. So here it goes. Here it's become gray, that means no one controls it. I cannot stress this enough. You cannot have everybody leave the town. At least one person has to stay behind until it's fully captured. Because an uncaptured town does not benefit the squad at all. You need to have the majority. You need to have 90% of the towns captured before the pirate kings spawn in. So after you capture one town, you just move to the next one that's closest and take that over too. You always want to take out all the nearby towns so there's a safe area where you can actually protect and guard like an entrance to your protected towns. If there are any towns that are unprotected or uncaptured nearby, the pirates can always go around and capture the towns you did take over, so you always want to make sure you capture everything. So I'm going to go down here and make sure there's actually nothing down here. So our squad's down there capturing. I'll just make sure that nothing can come around and take what we already have claimed. Also, if you look at the map, you can click on it. You can actually set your spawn point at any one of the towns you have captured, so if you want to spawn there, just go ahead and click that. Alright, let's see. There is a choke point right here, and it does look like it accesses the towns down here. Oh, no, this one's actually safe. We don't have to worry about them coming from this way. Since it ends right there, no pirates can actually get through. I can actually back up. This is taking quite a long time. I may have gotten stuck, hopefully not. There we go. Alright, so since this place is secured, there's no need to actually worry about watching this zone down here. Means we have all the locations around here. Looks like pirates somehow got to there and captured that, but I don't... Wait, there might be a town up here I can go check. Maybe that's where that came from. You always want to have at least a few scouts to go around and look around the map to see what we actually need to capture and what may be an issue. So it's likely that there will be a town up here, so I'm going to go up here and make sure there isn't. Oh yeah, there is one. Mark the map so everybody comes over, or so a few people come over. Since this town is uncaptured, it is a risk for the pirates to go and capture what we already have right now. So I'm going to work on taking out this tower. I do not seem to be close enough to that tower to actually take it out. I may die here. Oh my god. If I stop getting stuck on everything. Can I move? I literally cannot move for some reason. Yeah, I'm gonna die here. head back over there as soon as possible, because if no one's on that capture point, it's going to spawn pirates. Pirates are starting to spawn there. Also, another thing to take note of. Oh wait. So you see your shield. You have a shield on both your port side and broadside. I just instantly died there apparently for whatever reason. Get people to come up here because we are actually losing this zone. As I was saying, you have shields on both your broadside and port side. If those go down, the enemy will be able to attack your health straight on. Also, if the enemy gets to either your front or your back, they can easily bypass all of your defenses. So right now, what I'm doing with him is I'm actually shooting the front. So I was bypassing his defenses completely. There are also skills that allow you to penetrate through shields. So if you do have those, you can use that to your advantage. So right now I'm getting full-on shots straight to his health since he is aimed directly at me. And then if I shoot at him from the back, I can get straight through his shield too. I'm going to actually move over to the town so I can stop them from spawning more in. Because as long as they are spawning, that is a threat to what we've already captured. If I can get there before anything else spawns in, I should be fine. Alright, good. Now I can actually attack it this time. But it is killing me pretty fast. I'm still working on my build, so my defensive capabilities won't be the best. Looks like we'll be able to take out this tower. I am spamming my abilities, which, let me go through the abilities one by one. Here we have Lucky Coin, which increases my luck 100%, my crit multiplier 100%, and my mortar critical multiplier by 100%, which that doesn't actually affect me since my build doesn't even have a mortar. And then I have Bring Out the Stash, which is 200% penetration volley, 100% critical chance, and then 100% critical multiplier for volleys. And then I have my Deadly Shot, which is 100% mortar damage, 100% damage for volleys, and then 20% Bloodthirst. And then after I have all three of those activated, I activate my volley, which is my Bane attack. These are my defensive capabilities. Brace for Impact, which does 50% physical resistance and fire resistance, as well as 35% resilience. And then this I use to heal myself up for 40% repair. These two abilities both come from my captain himself, which is this guy right here. It's actually a pretty good build. These two bottom ones are really good abilities. I do want to pass these on to a better captain in the future. I am going to have to get an extra one with either one of the abilities, because you can only pass on one ability per sacrifice. So once you pass on one of the abilities from this guy, it's going to delete him. And those abilities are extremely rare, so it's probably going to take quite a bit of grinding. But now, since we have this entire area captured, we should not have any issues until enemies actually start to come through this bottleneck, which is very unlikely with how big our army is. If you do want to invite other players to the lobby, I usually type in chat. You either got to do /G first, and then 4S for 4 skull, and then my POS, which will give you position. To my understanding, the amount of players in a lobby does not actually affect your loot. You can check here to see what the reward is for this actual mission. So we'll get this bloodthirsty crew member. It's not really that important to my build, so that really won't benefit me, but the pirate kings that you kill will drop artifact tier accessories or gear pieces. You may not actually be able to see it until you actually get to a certain level, but if you hold shift over an item, you can actually see what its maximum tier is. Let's mark that so people can come up and help. My defensive abilities and offensive as fast as possible so that I can keep up my defense and DPS as much as I possibly can. I did die there, so I'm going to select this town and respawn there. So I'm just going to go back up and around to that same location. He's not in the town border, so pirates can spawn. Oh, nope, someone is actually. So I'm gonna go over here and help them finish off that tower. That is taken out. Someone always has to stay in the circle until it's finished capturing. If everybody else leaves, you cannot leave the zone. You have to stay there. But as long as there's one person in there, you can leave and move on to the next town. Looks like this guy is safely going to be able to take out that town. So I'm going to move on down south and fire into the next. Let's make sure there's none over in this area, which I doubt there is, but always good to check. this area is safe. So as you can see, we have this entire chunk of the map captured. Once we capture, I think, 2 more towns, then we'll actually have the Pirate King spawn in. On a 4-skull mission, there will always be 2 Pirate Kings. Sometimes there will be a merchant, an ally ship that spawns in as at the same time. I think if they die, you'll actually lose the mission, but I'm not 100% certain since I've never seen it actually happen. Here is where the Pirate King should spawn in from. So this guy is just sitting here getting ready. I'll stay here with him since they're almost done capturing everything. They did not actually spawn here for some reason. But we did have a whole bunch of pirates spawn though. So might as well actually take those out. Might get overrun here. It's me and one other person. Hopefully I can hold my ground, but I'm likely going to die. Got another person coming in to help. That pirate somehow survived, even though he had like no health. Just gonna spin, and then this one keeps on throwing up smoke so that it takes forever to kill him. Alright. I'm gonna let that guy. Wait, there's one right. And that one just smoked up again. I'm just gonna move on. Let that guy finish those up. And he smoked again. Alright, let's get on down to the Pirate Kings. So that one's actually sitting by himself right there. I'm gonna go over to this other one. Let me set my respawn at this town. It's the closest thing. Oh, it looks like he might have actually captured a town down there. I don't remember if there was one down. Oh, yeah, there is one right there. Normally you'd want someone to watch the other Pirate King while you're taking on the main one that everyone's attacking, but I guess we could go recapture the towns, but it does make it an issue because you can't finish the mission until everything's captured. Alright, so this one is a ship of the sea, or a ship of the line. It is the tankiest, well, it can be the tankiest ship in the game. Also the most defensible one, so you can actually get a lot of cannons on this one. I am actually using this one too myself, although I need to get a lot more upgrades because I am using a whole bunch of pieces that do not fit my build very well. So I'm going to be doing a lot of grinding until I actually get the full set of what I need. Oh yeah, another thing to keep an eye on is your shield, because as it goes down, you will actually see a meter. He's not actually attacking me, so I can't see it. Might be someone else. Yeah, this guy right here. It's not a really good example. This guy right here, you can see his shield continuously going up and down. You do have healers supporting him, so that's how he's able to keep his shield up for so long. But if you did not have decent healers, you would be dying within like 5 seconds likely. Unless you have like a really defensive ship, which I did before, but I swapped over to this Sea of the line, but it takes a lot of actual gear to spec up the same way because it has so many slots on it. I can actually survive just fine because of all the healers, so I don't actually have any issue here. So we're just gonna set up right next to the ship of the line. Oh yeah, so you can see my shield right here. This is, once that green bar goes completely out, you'll start taking damage. I believe the dark green bar is your armor. Like it has extra defense, and I'm probably, yeah, I'm dead. I don't know what happened to the healers, but they just let me die right there. But normally when you're in a big group around a Pirate King, you won't really have any issues staying alive. Oh wait, I think that was the second Pirate King. I don't know how he even got in there. I didn't notice when he joined. But this one is about to die. Alright, I'm just gonna prop up right here and just start casting our offensive abilities and defensive to stay alive. Alright, there we go. That one's dead. And here's the second one. You always want to look around and pick up your artifact as soon as possible, because if anybody else, well, if it sits there long enough, I believe other people are able to pick it up. So armor, accuracy. This is actually one of the pieces I'm looking for, so that will actually be a benefit to my build. So as long as you're outside this little radius around the Pirate King, they actually can't shoot towards you. But once you are inside, you're fair game. But if you are either in front or behind him, not inside this little red area, they actually cannot hit you with their cannons, but they can still hit you with their mortar. So if they have any mortar attacks, they'll be bombing you the entire time you're in that. So if you're a weaker build, you want to stay out of this radius as much as possible. But if you can stand in there and tank it, you're set. Damage accuracy. Oh yeah, depending on what the ship is, you'll actually get a blueprint for killing it. I think it's guaranteed for Ship of the Line because I've never killed a Ship of the Line that didn't drop one. But once you get 10 blueprints for a specific ship just like that, so I'm at 9 for the Bylander, I only need one more, you actually can craft the ship after that. Let's see what this guy has on him. Nothing too important. But I can put on this new piece that I got right here. So I'll put, let's see, what do I need to swap out? So I think it's, yeah, have that one there. That one there. And then these will be different pieces that I need to swap out at some point. 53%. So yeah, I want to get another one up here. On armor. So I'm going to... I actually want the 35% there so that I have faster repairs in that location. So until all the towns are captured and the Pirate Kings are dead, you can't actually interact with the towns. However, you can just sit there until the other team members capture it, but it's better to have just go help out the team capturing if needed, but it's not really that important. You always want to keep an eye on the loot that's in the sea. Sometimes there are Pirate Kings that do spawn in loot boxes that do look like gear, but they actually do damage to you. So you want to keep an eye out for too much loot in the same area. Just make sure you're not picking up explosives rather than loot. I'm actually going to go sit at this town since they're about to capture that one over there. Once they do capture it, you can interact with the town center, and you can see what other people are selling. You can also buy that loot if it actually benefits your build. Sometimes items do get put up that are 3 million, which I don't really understand what causes that, but it's the same exact as if you were to go for a gear piece that wasn't 3 million. So all these ones are 3 million right now. So I'm not really going to bother with those. I'm looking for ones that aren't 3 million. Can I actually buy? Oh yeah, I can buy that way. So shift right clicking, shift left clicking, you can buy something the very instant it comes up. Alright, let's see some of these. Spider. Alright, people are selling again. It doesn't look like there's going to be really any decent gear pieces to buy. Yeah, they're all going up for high price and they kept it out. So anything that goes in the last slot is instantly going to get deleted the next person that sells something. So let me get rid of all these. I usually wait until it's fully maxed out to actually start selling stuff so that I don't fill up the inventory completely with all the crap loot first. So after getting rid of all those, let's see if there's any guys I can actually put on my team that won't actually negatively impact my build. Iron Haste. Yeah, so I'm looking for specific ones that don't actually decrease my repair and haste speeds. So I think this one, no, that one actually does too. Oh no, I think they all actually do that. Yeah, so it looks like every single pirate does that, so you just kind of like want to look for speed stats that are actually useful to you. So like right here, I think repair. Yeah, this one has damage, repair, and haste. Repair, haste, and damage. I think they pretty much all do. No, like this one does diplomacy, and I don't really care for diplomacy, so I can swap that one out. This one gives, since this one has luck to cells, that doesn't actually benefit a ship like this unless you have the the crew members in these slots, which I usually don't put them there. I'm looking to put crates there. I might swap that around depending on what I plan, because I probably don't need this many cannons. Alright, so this one is damage, luck, and haste. So that one's not useful to my current build. This one is repair, haste, and damage, so I will be taking that one and placing this one because I do not really care for diplomacy. Repair, haste, and damage, so that's another one I want. This guy is 70% repair and 30% haste. That might actually be useful if I can get more of these guys. So if I can put one here, I would need a total of 6 of them. And then for the inner slots, I'll put ones that just do repair, haste, and damage. This one actually has base stats. Yeah, this one's a better one. I want to get more that are like this that actually benefit a lot more perks on the ship itself. I think I only have like one of those guys, so I do need to get more. Yeah, I only have one of those. So it looks like he's a 166. So damage and repair haste, who can I take out? This one is just repair and haste. Damage. Alright, so I can swap this one out since he's not what I need. This one gives me repair, haste, and damage. Damage per. It's actually not the cannon I'm looking for. Types of cannons I'm looking for give 70% damage, 35% accuracy, and 5% critical multiplier. So I'm probably going to. I'm going to keep that just in case. Probably trade some other players because sometimes you can get some items that will benefit them, and you can trade them for ones that you need more. So I'm just gonna put all these in here. Oh, why the fuck did it sell that? That's weird. Alright. So I'll leave these down here. Those are extras just in case I want to use them at some point. And then, wait, I don't actually need those. Alright, and that's the full tutorial for doing a fort skill mission. Alright, let me end